All right, welcome back.
Which supplements and lifestyle changes really work to treat ADHD?
Today in my CURES, we're talking about that, and also some cutting-edge DNA testing and other tests. You can actually purchase some of them on Amazon to learn what your brain needs to work best. So here to help us navigate all this is naturopathic doctor Jennifer Stagg at Whole Health in Farmington. Thank you so much for being with us.
We were just talking about how our brain works because mine immediately went to something shiny. So
yes, we have shiny balls in here. But you know, there's so much on the internet right now about how to treat ADHD. Just get this supplement. We want to acknowledge that this is a medical condition and it can manifest in different ways, but that's why I wanted to have you on, because there are actually real things that make a difference that in the form of supplements.
Yep, absolutely. And certainly, like, medication is definitely an option. This doesn't mean that you can't take medication.
Right.
You have to only take supplements. But there are plenty of supplements that have been shown to be effective in reducing the symptoms of ADHD.
And quality matters, so don't just go, as we do this, we're going to talk about first with nutrition and lifestyle. We want to make sure, I mean, you're a doctor who sells physician-grade supplements, so sometimes when we're spending all this money on stuff we buy online, it may not have the same value, so
right,
we want to make quality. But number one, nutrition, blood sugar levels. If you have a kid with ADHD, you notice sometimes they really want that candy, they really want that stuff. It's like they're looking for that dopamine hit. So keeping blood sugar level can make a huge difference.
Right, it's important. And we always talk about breakfast first. So whenever I'm working with kids, we talk about, you know, how can we get some protein into that breakfast and balance out the carbs that they're eating.
Can we just backtrack just a little bit first, though, because we're talking about, first of all, kids and then adults with ADHD. Sometimes they manifest differently, but symptoms can range, right? So how to get that diagnosis, especially in adults, can be challenging.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So with kids, generally, it's mostly done through the pediatrician's office. But with an adult, you often have to see a psychiatrist or a neuropsychologist who can really do the type of testing to offer that diagnosis.
But those symptoms or you know, things that pop up, day-to-day activities, they can be wide-ranging, and then those are the things that you can use the supplements for to kind of treat, right?
Yep, yeah, for sure. And we treat adults all the time as well in our practice.
So some of the symptoms are going to be, you know, trouble with disorganization, trouble with focus, maybe some, like a motor, you're always going, hyperactivity, difficulties falling asleep. Let's start with one that's very well tested. Even a traditional MD might tell you that this is something you want to take, but omega-3s, essential fatty acids.
Yeah, so omega-3s, there have been like at least 3 randomized controlled trials showing omega-3 levels to be low in people who have ADHD, and then also showing the benefit of taking omega-3. So this is basically, you know, a fish oil supplement. You want to get really good quality for sure with all supplements, but especially when it comes to fish oil.
How much?
So again, it depends on if it's a child or an adult. You want to have a product that has a lot of DHA in it, first of all. So a lot of those gummy fish oil supplements that are for kids, often when you look at the label, could have only 30 milligrams of DHA. We're talking like a couple of 100 milligrams at least of DHA in a supplement for a kid, and even more than that for an adult.
Okay, so we want a higher grade, higher dose.
Yep.
Okay, so you don't have to take 10 of them, even though they're gummies, so kids might want to.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. What about vitamin D? I've actually been hearing more and more about vitamin D deficiency across the board. I mean, especially if you think about it, this summer we've been very wet. We haven't had a lot of sunshine, and when we have, it's been hazy because of the smoke. So we're not getting it naturally.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we've had a tough summer for vitamin D in our neck of the woods, but definitely vitamin D deficiency is a big issue in Connecticut because of our northern latitudes. We only have that short period of time where we can make vitamin D, so most people really need to be on a supplement of vitamin D, and dosing will vary depending on if it's a child or an adult, and then how much that adult needs. And you can figure that out certainly through testing, and that's a simple blood test that can be done like at your annual physical. It's very easy to get that information.
Sometimes we have to ask, not all doctors order it, but you want, for optimal levels in your world, you'd like to see it at least 50.
Yeah, exactly. So we look at, like, the lab report will people say under 30, like just over 30 is normal, but we want to see that more so 50 to 80 range.
And I know I actually get mine from you, the Daily D, and we want to give that, you can give that to your adults, kids. That's one of the foundations, like pretty much you would say everybody in your family takes
right,
that.
Yeah, for sure.
ADHD definitely, but
yes,
we all need it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And let me just go over the last few that you have specifically for ADHD. Iron, zinc, probiotics. We're going to talk more in depth on CURES, but I want to talk about the GenoMind test. We have that picture of it, but this is something you can get on Amazon, which you might almost think this is a scam, but you actually do this for some of your patients. What is this?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. When this test, it's changed a little bit, but the information is still excellent. When it first came to market, it was called Mindful DNA, and it was only available through physicians. So that's where I got my background in using it, and then they switched to a consumer-focused test, but the testing obviously is still high quality. It has almost 40 different genes that are related to cognitive health and behavior. There are 7 different categories on there. We can certainly talk about that more on CURES.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that on the podcast coming up. Also, they give you one free half-hour session where they go over it, but I know meeting with someone like you can get even more information. So we're going to have that on the CURES podcast.
All right, fantastic. Thank you both so much. So interesting.
Yeah.